Hello and welcome to the Dutchin channel. It's Tuesday the 30th of April 2024 and it's just gone 20 to 11 in the evening, and I thought I'd do a tutorial video before I go to sleep because there's a few of you asking of how I get to the end result. So I will do that for you, and I know people are still wanting to know how to Dutch properly as well. I think I need to show you that properly with a live bet. So I may do that this week at some point for you. But we're going to look on the very last race. This is on the 2nd of May. This is as far as I've got up to nearly. I've got another meeting to do near enough, but we're going to look at the very last race, which is the 9 o'clock at Chelmsford. I've already got as far as this. So we've input all the horses' names, and what I'm going to do now is show you how to fill the rest of it in. It's not, I mean, something like this would normally take me about 2 minutes per horse. So it's not easy. You can't just look at this and just say, oh, I fancy that one. Right, because this is getting them in order from number 1 to number 11. Not that they finish like that, but that's the idea of it. So the first horse we're going to look at, and we're going to use the racing post form. Right, Little White Dove. So we'll just click on that and it will bring up the horse's form. You can see down the bottom here. But what you want is the last 3 runnings. It must have run 3 times and it must be on the flat. But I think something like what I've picked out here, let me just cross off that. It's a 3-year-old race anyway. So basically most or all of these horses would never have run hurdles anyway. So we're going to start, as I said, with Little White Dove, and we work down from the top to the bottom. So we'll bring up the first page and we'll see that Little White Dove finished 2nd. Okay. But the first thing we want is the RPR. This is the racing post rating, and that is 70. Right, that will always be whatever the number is there. There's no adding, subtracting, or anything else. That will always be just what the number is. Sometimes, if it was only yesterday, there wouldn't be a racing post rating there. Do not touch any of the rest of them, like the official rating and the top speed. You don't need that. You just need this RPR, and it must be the top horse. Now, sometimes you will see when you click on to a result that has been reversed. Like the first has been placed 2nd and the 2nd's been placed 1st. But only ever touch the top line, because they don't move the horse into 2nd place. They just put a 2 here. Alright, instead of where that 1 is, they put a 2, and where that 2 is, they put a 1. So they won't be in descending or ascending order, I should say. So always touch the first line only. So this RPR will be 70. Then you want how far the horse has been beaten. Now, because it's in 2nd, it will just be a number there. But if it was 3rd or 4th, you'll see there's 2 numbers here. Now, let's use Dancing the Dream as an example, because it finished last. It only got beat 3/4 of a length. But it only got beat 3/4 of a length by the horse in front of it, which was 10 commitments. But the number we're going to want is the one in brackets, which is 10. It's been beaten 10 lengths by the winner. And this will work out the same even if these placings were reversed and this was 2nd. Still do it for the top horse only. So if it says it's been beaten 10 lengths, that's good enough. But when a horse has finished 2nd, it doesn't need a further number because it's only been beaten by 1 horse. So this time it's been beaten 3 1/4 lengths. and you have to put a minus because it's behind, right? And every horse that doesn't win must be beaten, so it must be a minus number. A horse that wins isn't beaten anything, so it will be a 0. So there'll never be anything that's a plus. It will always be minus if it's beaten and a 0 if it wins. And the other number we need is the difference in the weight. Right, and again, the difference in the weight is always going to be revolved around the winner's weight of 9 stone. We were carrying 8 stone 7 here, Little White Dove, which means that's the difference in pounds, as in pounds and stones, not kilos and grams. This is in the old-fashioned method. So it's been beaten by, or under the weight of 7 pounds. And it's less than 9 stone, which means it must be a minus. It's 7 pounds under what the winner is. So that's a -7. And that is it. That's all you have to do. So I'm just going to go through the next one. And again, we'll open the page up. We know the horse finished 6th. The RPR rating this time is 78. Always make sure that you're doing flat races though, because they are totally different numbers on National Hunt. But as I said, this being a 3-year-old race, I don't think you'll have any problems anyway. So again, the next column, you need the number here in brackets, which is 6 3/4. But remember, putting fractions into decimal is completely different as well. In this case, it's -6.75, and the weight is 9 stone 2. The winner's weight is the winner's weight is 9 stone 2 as well, so that becomes a 0. All right, no one's any better than anyone else there. Then we go into the third race. And you'll see that the RPR this time is 72. It finished 10th and was beaten a total of 16 lengths by the winner. So that's a -16. And this time it was off of 9 stone 2, and so was the winner. So again, that's a 0. Now you want the top of these 3 totals along here. And the best one is the second race along 71.25. So that will go in your JHR, whatever you want to call that. I'll just call that John's horse rating. Now, the one thing I always do after I've done the first horse is I put the weights in. Now, the weights of this race are down the middle here. Right, you can see all of those are basically different. So the first 3 are 9 stone 10, and I always do this manually. Alright, it's 3 off 9 stone 10. Then we got a 9-9 and 2 9/8. And this is why it does take time to do one race. I'm most probably a lot quicker because I'm just doing this for information purposes at the moment. But I could mostly do this in around 15 minutes, I would think. Then we've got 9-1, 9-1, 9 stone and 9 stone. Now, the thing is with flat horse racing, everything is based around 9 stone 2. So unless you're an amateur jockey on the flat, then amateur jockey races are normally 10 stone 2 to work on. So 9 stone 2 will be our average. So what we've got to do is get every one of these horses down to 9 stone 2. But in this case, these are under. So we know that adding 2 pounds to 9 stone will give that 9 stone 2, which is what we need it to be. Same with that one. This is 9 stone 1, so that's needing an extra pound to make 9 stone 2. But the rest of them are all going to be too much weight. So 9 stone 6, you need to take £4 away there. So minus £4. You need to take minus 6 on those two, minus 7 on that, and minus 8 on the top three. Now they will bring every horse to 9 stone 2. And the totals with the orange box in this column, this is now the horse's rating, because we moved 71.25 into the ratings box. It will automatically take off 8 to take that to 9 stone 2. And now you'll see at the end there, we've got a new rating of 63.25. Now this race is a 0 to 55. Alright, so basically everybody in this race should be rated 55, all of them, right? Because the way a handicap works is for every horse to be of the same rating, but it will never work like that. So let's have a look at the second selection. That's why there's always horses that get thrown in. That's why there's always certainties, you know, or horses that are backed off the boards. You'll see a lot of that. I think because I'm going back to today, there was a horse that was 28 to 1, back down to 6 to 1. Could have gone round again. Won easy as it liked. So moving into this second horse. Again, you're into the first race, or its last race. And the RPR is 68, and the horse was beaten by 6 lengths. So 68 minus 6, and the difference in the weight, 9 stone 6. The winner carried 9 stone 7. That means we're £1 under that. Then we'll go into the next race down. This tells you where the horse finished and how many ran. So when I looked for 5 on that, that's what I was looking for. Here I'm going to look for 11, which means the horse finished 11th. But as I'm going down to 11th, remember the RPR there of 83. So 83, the horse gets beat 12.25 lengths. So 83 minus 12.25. And this time we see it was off of 8 stone 13, and the winner was off of 9 stone 7. So that means we was £8 under. So that becomes a minus 8. And now we're going to work out the third race. The Garden View came 7th. And the RPR was 78, and the horse was beaten 10.25 lengths. And the weights were both the same, both offered 9 stone 2. These are normally novice races or maiden races that have the same weights. And the best one again, as we go across, 67.75. We'll automatically take that weight off, and it will leave a 59.75. Remember, this race is a 0 to 55 handicap. KTG will be our third horse in this race. And it does like going slow on this racing post now and again. See down this here on the left hand side, the HC means it was a handicap. The MD is a maiden and the MD is a maiden there. So normally the maidens, unless you've got quite a good horse in the race, you would be off the same weights. So KTG finished 7th. The RPR was 64, and it was beaten 6.75 lengths. And the weights there were exactly the same, both off of 9 stone 8. So into the next race, it finished 5th. You can see the RPR is 69 and the beaten length is 4. And the weights this time, 8 stone 11 as opposed to 9.2 for the winner. So that's a difference of -5 in pounds. And then our last race finished 6th. RPR of 83, got beat 11 lengths. And the pounds again, 9 stone 2, winner 9 stone 7, means it was on a -5. So when we add the points up here, see the best one, we've got one there on 67, and again, the rating there will be 59. So it is coming down, you know, towards his 55. Ocean Bliss is the next one. Last 3 it running were all handicapped. Let's have a look. Run of 66 RPR, got beat a length and a half. Then it raced off of 8 stone 10. The winner was 9 stone 4, which a difference of £8 less, so a -8. Then we had a 65 rated race, beating 3/4 of a length. And the weight again, 8 stone 8 as opposed to 9 stone 3. That's a difference of a -7. And the last race you want for this horse, '56 rating, got beat 1 length. Raced off of 9 stone 9, and the winner was 9 stone 7. That makes us heavier this time, so it's a +2. And quite similar, these numbers here, but 57.25 is the highest, and that makes that a 50.25. So that is under the 0 to 55 that they've asked you to be running in. Amroon is the next one. This is number 5 of 11. So as I say, this does take time. So Amroon last time finished 2nd. Off a 63 rated. Got beat 1 length. Raced off 9 stone 8. The winner was 9 stone 10. So £2 under what the winner was. But this Racing Post site it can take a while for the page to come up sometimes. And I have got a lot of stuff running in the background as well. Right, the Racing Post rating this time is 60. And in the brackets there it's been beaten 2 3/4 lengths. The weight was 9 stone 9 and the winner was 9 stone 6, so you got a +3 this time because you were heavier. And then the Racing Post rating here is 55. Amroon got beat 7 1/4 lengths. And this time the weight there ran off of 8 stone 9, and the winner was 9 stone 1. So you got £6 to come off this time as a minus. And the best time we got, or the best rating we got there is 60.25. That takes that down to a 54. So it's still the top one at the moment that shows the way, but it doesn't work like that, especially when you're Dutching. You're not backing one horse in a race. Right, so we're into the next horse now. This is number 6. This is Cogsworth. And that's run off a 69, beaten a neck. Now you think, how do I translate that into decimal? Well, this is minus 0.375. A length is normally split into 8 pieces. So a half a length would be 4 out of the 8. 2 out of the 8 would be a head or a quarter of a length. Yeah, then a 1 out of the 8 would be a short head. The 3 out of the 8 would be a neck, and so forth. 6 out of the 8 would be a 3/4. And I normally put a nose down as half of a short head. But again, that's up to you how you do it. 9-7 against 10 stone 2 here. So we've got -9 to come off that one. And then the RPR here is 61, beaten 3 1/4 lengths. And the weights here, 9 stone 9 for Cogsworth, 9 stone 4 for the winner. So a +5 because it was heavier. And now the last race for Cogsworth, 78 RPR, beaten 10 1/2 lengths. The weights this time was 9 stone 4. The winner was 9 stone 10. So 6 behind this time. That's a minus. And 62.75 would be the rating, bringing it down to 56.75. Then we've got more gin, please. That's a drink I could never get on with. And this is number 7 of 11. So we're getting through them slowly but surely. I didn't have a race with less runners that was empty, so I couldn't really show you anything else. 61 RPR, was beaten by 7 lengths. 9 stone 8, more gin please carried, and 9 for the winner. So a +4 here, because more gym please have more weight. And another thing is, while I'm doing this one, if you look back at the last 3 result shows, you'll see that the 2 previous days we had 20 winners from 40 selections, and 17 of those losers came second. So this system does work, but it's how many you want to do. And of course, like me, it's how quick you can get them done. I'm always nearly about a day and a half in front, because I believe you have to be, just in case anything goes wrong. And I've had a few days where things goes wrong, so I mean, I've got about 7 races to do for the second. Tomorrow's already done. I have to send that out to the people that have taken out subscriptions, so all that's literally done. So the next one here, 72 rated, minus 8.5 lengths was beaten. Then 9 stone 4, it carried. The winner was 9 stone 1, so that's a +3. And 66.5 was the rating, less the £4 to take off. Leaves 62.5, puts that in second and not far off the winner. And now we're going to do the 8th selection, which is CC La Bombe. Yeah, I've done this system for many, many years. It's just something I devised when I was just looking at the Racing Post one day. It's no good looking at the Racing Post trying to do your own form selections with 1 to 5 favourites that win. These are very easy to pick out. But you try picking out something like 100 to 1 shot, or even a 25 to 1 shot. You try picking that out, and it becomes a lot more difficult. So these kind of systems that I've come up with, this is the one now that I'm pretty much sure that I will stick with. The other one I will just put that in the bin. I mean, we had a very, very good March with the other system. It was up to 2,900 in 26 days. But it had a very poor ratio in April. And I thought I might as well bring this into play. I always have this as a backup anyway. But if I have a bad day on one, I have a look at the other, just to see why or what went wrong. But if you can back 20 winners out of 40 like I've done in the 2 previous days, don't forget, it sounds a marvellous like ratio or whatever you want to call it there, because you think to yourself, wow, 20 winners in 40 races. But you've got to remember, when you Dutch, you're not betting one horse in a race, so it becomes a lot more selections that you're doing. The only thing it comes down to one selection is because you're betting it at evens. Because of all the bets you're doing, you're laying out a certain amount to double your money. So they become level stakes. So even though, like today, I had a second there that went off at 133, by the time you back another 5 or 6 horses in that race, you can't really go telling people you've backed 133 winner, because really it's even money because of all the other horses that you've backed in that race. And you haven't had level stakes either. But it will still take some doing. Now this one here, as I'm just halfway through it, the weight here was 9 stone 2 for Warzone, but the winner was 10 stone 2. So this time we've got a minus 14 to take off. But keep an eye out for this race in the last. I'll mostly forget anyway. And that's why I tried to show you all these systems, but I know not many of you could really stick to it because this needs to be done on a full-time basis. You know, if you look at the bottom with all the greens that I've done against the blue, which are the meetings, 2, 4, 6, after this one I'll have 5 to do. But this has taken me since somewhere in the region of 11 o'clock this morning on and off. Because I have to do the betting in between it all as well, and eat, of course. But I wanted to get all these done by tonight, really, but you can see how long it takes to do one, so it's, I'd still be up maybe about another 2 to 3 hours. So what I will do in the morning, I will put my alarm on for around 4:30 and get up and get that out the way. Because then I need to think about after that doing the exchange prices with the selections I've given tomorrow. So it's all on, you know, there's no rest in doing this. So we'll just get together again just to do these last couple of horses. We've got a racing post rating of 67, beaten 10.5 lengths, 8-9 on the weight, 9-5 for the winner. So that's a difference of £10 under, which is a minus £10. That was the first line of form. Then the second line, the second line for Cleonia is 65 rated, beaten 2 lengths. And the weights this time, £5 more weight carried by the winner. So that's a minus 5 for Cleonia. And the last line of form there, and that raced off 58 RPR, got beat 10.25 lengths this time. And the weights, both 9 stone, so there's no difference there. And the highest from the 3 is the middle one, which is 58. You get a +2 there because you need to make that to 9 stone 2, and that will give a rating of 60. So now we're going to move into the last one. This is Dash Power. And you have to do them all because it's the ones at the bottom that are claiming more weight that could actually move up quicker. And one thing I don't really do here is the allowances. I have got another column empty which I did use, but it doesn't really work because there's a reason why some of these claimers get their, £5, £7, £3 or whatever it may be. So I think it levels out really, and then of course you've got to be looking on it all day just in case that jockey gets taken off and someone else gets put on it, and it's a lot of hassle to keep looking to see if the jockey changes. So we've got a 52 rated race. 7 3/4 been beaten, and this time 9 stone 3. The winner was off a 9 stone. We were £3 heavier, and that's a +3. Just one more now to work out. One more race, and then that'll be all of it done. And Dash Power there, off of a 65, got beat 2 lengths by the winner. And 9 stone to Dash Power, 9 stone 5 to the winner is a -5. So the 3 to see what the highest was off of 58. So the next thing we need to do now is group them all up right down to this last line here. You want that you're gonna, or column I should say, that you're going to put these now in descending order in column AL. And that should all change now in the horses' names. And that's how it's given us the order. Now that order will be correct. So once you start betting in that today or tomorrow, whenever you can have a bet, you think to yourself, right, Little White Dove will be your top selection from More Gin Please. But what you have to look at here is some of these could be dead heated. And just out of this race, there is 2 that are dead heated, both on 60, and you'll most probably need to find out the difference. You then go into John's horse ratings, and they're both on 58 there. So this is more than a dead heat. You have to go back now to the 3 races it ran in, and 58, the next best was 47.75, and the 58 for the next horse, Dash Power, the best he done was 48.50, second best time. So Dash Power will actually be better than Cleonia. So you will want Dash Power to finish above Cleonia. So we'll just get that in. We'll put that in column D and Z to A, and that's it. So we'll just move them round, and that's what will happen in the 9 o'clock at Chelmsford. You can move this across, which is what I normally do, and then as each price comes in, you add it, starting from the top one, because that's now going to be your top selection to win the race. I haven't got no idea on prices, so this will need to be done on the day, maybe 10-15 minutes before the race commences. But that's just to show you how we get to a final order of the horses, or whatever you want to call it. That's how we get to that result. If you do want one of these templates, they are for free. I haven't got an email address that's come up on there. I normally put a banner on the bottom, but the reason I haven't done that is so you can see everything else at the bottom that you need to see. But if you do want one, just go through on this video on YouTube and just send me a message at the bottom there, and then I'll dig the email out if you want one of these templates. You'll have to fill it in yourself, of course, and the more you do, the more quicker you'll get, and hopefully the more winners you'll get. So thanks for watching this tutorial, and I'll start putting a few more on for you, and you can see what they're all about. Okay, thanks for watching.